G'day YouTube. Today we'll be learning about a function called call group and call group flags. They are basically the same thing with one small little change. Okay, so I'm going to use a project that I'm already working on. I won't bore you with the details, but basically there's a lot of slot machines. There's like 500 slot machines in this room right now. So if I wanted to call a function on every single one of those slot machines, that's how I would do it with call group. And then if I wanted to defer the call or do it in reverse order, for instance, you would use call group flags. So this is my main scene script. And so what I'm going to do is obviously we've got inside input, we've got a input event key. And then we're going to go elif input dot is action just pressed, and then we're going to call this test1, and then we'll work out the logic later. So we've got to actually add an input map for test1. So test1, and I'm just going to set that to the K key. Sure, why not? Make sure I don't have anything else set. Cool. So what we want to do is we want to first get tree. So call group works on the get tree, right? So if you don't know what a group is, basically in your main scene, you can actually grab whatever object you want, and then over here in node, you can add it to a group. So let's say patrol points, for instance, is a scene group that I have here. So in my patrol point section, I've got all of these markers, and you see this is highlighted here because they're part of that group. The cigarette machine isn't part of patrol points, but this is. Now that's one way to do it. This is the only scene that I have specifically declared here. But what I usually like to do is if we go to this slot machine and then we go into the script for it, right up at ready, we're going to see one of the first things that it does is it adds it to group slot machines, right? So every single one of those slot machines has already been added to group slot machines, and I didn't have to do any of it through the editor. That's usually how I recommend to use groups, unless you've got specific things that you need to reference that you only have one time in the scene. That was really strange. Yeah, just had a crash. So on my slot machine code, for instance, I've got a function called spawn coin. So what I can do with call group is I can make every single one of those slot machines pump out a coin. So we're going to go back to that little piece of code that we just wrote in the main scene, and then we're going to go get tree. Then we're going to go call group, and our group is called slot machines. And then you see the next step is the method. So whatever method we're going to do. So we go spawn coin. Cool. And then after spawn coin, you can see in my slot machine we actually have a value. Oh look, Will's online. We actually have a value, so we're going to need to fill that out. So back over in the main scene, let's have a look. So after spawn coin, we can put that value amount. So let's go 5,000 just as a test. We're going to run the game, and then we're going to hit K. And as you can see, every single one of the slot machines in the whole scene is now pumping out tons of money. And look at us. We're going to be a millionaire any second now. Look at that, squillions. So now we're going to look at get tree call deferred. Call group flags. Call group flag. All right, cool. So first of all, we've got our flags. And now what we need to do is we need to look at them. So we've got this here, which is going to defer the call. And if you don't know what that means, it means it basically waits a frame before it runs it. And it's also going to do it in reverse. So this might have ramifications. I'm telling you now just so you don't go insane. So what we can do is we can set all that up, and then we can do the same thing. And as you can see, it's basically just going to do the same thing. So 5,000, and then we're just going to run that. So like I said, it's going to wait a frame and it's going to do it in reverse, but for us that has absolutely no difference. So awesome. If you got any help out of this, make sure to hit subscribe, like the video. It actually really helps. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of next month. Probably won't happen, but we'll see. Catch us next time. Also come follow me on Twitch, Rembot Games.